All right, good afternoon. My name is James Morgan, from the founder of the Event Tech Lab and also the Dean of the Tourism and Hospitality College in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So I've come to IBTM this year, thankfully back to live, and I'm loving it so far. Like these guys, they're all loving it. Look at the smiles on their faces. But we're here today to talk about event tech trends. And if you're just walking into the room now, make sure you're near the front with a paper bag, please. So we're talking about event tech trends today. And I've got some amazing event professionals who are joining me. And they're going to each do a little mini session for you on their favorite trends. But before we do that, I'm just going to get the clicker. And if it's here, where is the... Oh, here it is. It's got the slide clicker. And I'm going to go forward. If you want to download the presentation from today, that is the QR code. It'll go to a Google Drive, and you can download the presentation if you need a reminder on that. Okay, and I'll show that slide again at the end. But let's get started, because we've got a lot to pack in the 45 minutes. If you do have any questions, the speakers will be hanging around outside afterwards, so you can go up and ask them if you have anything in particular, because we don't have time at the end of the session. So the first person I'm going to ask to come up is Mariska.
Oh yes, I need to stand here. I will start with a question. Who has downloaded the app Clubhouse? Only downloaded it. Okay. Who has used it? And who is still using it? Okay. Look, this is really interesting to see. So no one in this room, to confirm, so no one in this room until, say, today using Clubhouse very actively. Okay, that's a confirmation, what I would like to know. So, what I would like to speak about, one of the trends is social audio. This is one of the most, one of the most important trends for 2022. When Clubhouse started it, it was interesting because it only was accessible on iPhone. So in that way, they created a Fomo because it was not accessible for everyone. I think it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, because I'm more like for inclusive, that technology is inclusive for all of us. The interesting thing is we all downloaded the app, but it's fading away because other platforms are starting as well with social audio. Like we have it also on Spotify, also on Facebook, and perhaps many others will follow as well. Also even, of course, the Twitter Spaces. The only suggestion that I have is please follow this development, follow this trend, but also check if the audience that you would like to follow or that you would like to engage with is present on that platform. Of course, this can't be missed, video. And now we're going to ask again a question. Who has created, during IBTM, a video? Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay, the panel. Yeah, but the panel is something. So people who are trend savvy or tech savvy. So only 3 people. Really interesting, because video is still very important. We've all had boring meetings this year, right? A lot of them. Zoom, Teams. And what do we do sometimes? We watch a video, sometimes with the capitals. Video is really interesting to transmit a powerful story. So video is definitely here to stay, but it will be shorter because our engagement, our attention is getting shorter and shorter because of all the online meetings. And I really don't hope we go back to all those online meetings, because I'm sure we're all fed up. So also Instagram, for example, was really a photographer platform. Now also is more a video platform. And we will see that with more of the social media platforms going more and more focus on video. So please watch the different social media platforms, how they will evolve and how they will engage with video. So the advice that I can give, because only 2 or 3 people from the events industry, we all have a smartphone. It's so easy to create a video yourself. So please follow the trend and create a video. It's not that difficult. So that's the trends that I would like to share. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so the next person I'm going to ask to come up is Edgar's, and here's the slide sorter.
Slide sorter. Love that word. Love that term. Hello, everyone. Edgar's from 3K Management, a Latvian DMC operating in Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, but in the last 2 years, as almost everyone, we've been pretty focused on the online environment, doing quite a lot of international events online. Some of them have been awarded as well internationally, especially this 5G Tech Retreat, the biggest forum that we have, almost 3,000 participants. The 4th edition finished just last week, and that's why the picture, I guess one of the reasons why James invited me as well. And one of the buzzwords that we also heard on all the stages of 5G Tech Retreat this year was, of course, metaverse. And not without the reason, this picture as well. So what metaverse actually is, for those ones who really have somehow skipped this buzz, and the buzzword that is all around you all the time now, it is this really immersive and inclusive virtual space that gives the participants the possibility to interact with the computer-generated content and with each other. It's a space that actually folds time and space. It's a space that actually makes space and time travel real. And I'm not drunk when I'm saying that, right? But it sounds like, and I'm here to tell you 2 things about it. And the first one is that metaverse is already there. And it actually has been there already for a while, we just haven't noticed. So we're not here to talk about Facebook, and Facebook just made it a buzzword. The term itself was coined in 94, actually, from a science fiction novel. But the idea has been around since Asimov's books in the 50s and since Hollywood blockbusters in the 80s. And it actually has been already used as a kind of a test bed for, especially for the gaming industry. And I guess some of you have played games like even Sims, like 20 years ago, right? Or some of the gaming industry highlights nowadays, which are actually metaverse already as well. So it is real, it is existing, and especially with the development of technology. Justin Bieber just recently had a concert in metaverse. Ariana Grande has had one as well, and Nike is creating actually a metaverse for its customers. So metaverse is already there. But at the same time, I'm here to tell you that we're still worlds apart from it. Because what we noticed also and we understand is that we're having a glimpse of the metaverse, we're touching the metaverse, but what it will require is this really, really massive and really, really complicated. It will require a lot of processing capacity from computers and from the people. It will require this umbrella term, as we use it in the industry, the umbrella term XR, which is a combination of AR, of VR, and of MR, which is the mixed realities, and everything in between. And while most of our customers are still learning to change the Zoom background, and I guess you know what I'm talking about, or to turn off the microphone when they're not speaking, or the cameras. So this is what I'm here to tell you, that it is there, and it has been there already for a while, but we're still worlds apart from it. But what I want to tell you is that you don't have to be afraid of metaverse, because it won't change the reality. It won't take it away. Although Iceland did a brilliant campaign recently, and Iceland, is anyone from Iceland here? Just genius what you did. But don't be afraid of the metaverse, because it's there not to take away your reality, but it's actually to blend the realities and to solve problems that couldn't be solved otherwise. And this is really important for our industry. So we will be actually the ones who can make a meaningful use of metaverse and set an example for everyone else. And the second trend in the last 30 seconds that I want to mention to you, of course, is, and yes, it is, in my opinion, a tech trend, that what we've noticed is that, yes, content is the king and has been always. But in the last 2 years, I guess we all understood that networking and live communication has been the queen, actually running the house. Nowadays, especially in the online and virtual and digital events, content is not the king anymore. Content is the emperor. And content will stay the emperor in the online reality. And that's the signal for me to leave the stage. Thank you.
Thanks, Edgars. Thank you. I'm sorry, I've got to keep a tight time here to make sure that everybody gets their time in. Just to make sure that the people that came in a bit late, have you got a paper bag on your seat? And if you don't, move forward, or I'll go around and hand some out in a minute. The next speaker that I want to introduce is not with us today, but he sent a video for us. And his name is Panos Moutafis, who's based in Austin, Texas. And he's from a company called Zenus Analytics.
Hi everyone, my name is Panos and I am recording this video from my home office in Austin, Texas. James asked me to talk about two things: the importance of data analysis and facial analysis for events. He was also clear about one thing: no selling, keep it strictly educational. I'm ready if you are, so let's jump right to it. It is impossible to join a conversation about events without someone mentioning attendee engagement, right? People talked about it before the pandemic, we were struggling with it for virtual events, and it remains one of the hottest topics in the industry. But while everyone speaks about it and understands its importance, how many tools do you know that help you measure attendee engagement? Not many. And if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. Let's walk through a few examples where data analysis has a massive impact, and then a couple of ways to go about it. If you are a corporate event organizer, you must know the sessions that each person attended. Not which ones they registered for, but the ones they actually went to and watched. That is information you can pass on to your sales team to maximize the relevance of their follow-ups, and therefore the ROI of the entire event. If, for example, Panos attended a session about cloud computing, let's send him an email about cloud services. You also need to know which sessions performed better overall. What better means? Well, attendance is one metric, satisfaction throughout the session is another. Collecting that information remains a challenge, but it facilitates better programming, effective speaker selection, and more sponsorships for the following year. You can skip ineffective speakers, you can use data to convince sponsors to dig a little bit deeper into their pockets. If you speak with any prominent event organizer, they will tell you data is what drove their growth. And what about trade floors? That's a big one. There is massive value in understanding which booths people visited the most and whether they enjoyed their experience. Better experiences equal meaningful connections, which is the whole point of organizing events in the first place. You attract more attendees and exhibitors at the same time. As we have all learned, collecting analytics online is easier than in physical spaces. Online, you can count impressions, likes, comments, conversions, demographics, everything with ease. How do we bring all that to live, physical, in-person events? One answer is computer vision and AI, artificial intelligence. Facial analysis is different from facial recognition because it detects people's faces in the audience and computes group-level statistics without identifying individuals. It cannot read people's minds and what they feel inside, but it can capture multiple facial expressions per second and tell you if people are following the speaker. It can tell you if one demographic group enjoys the content more than the other, if the room is filled with people, or if there are multiple empty seats. You can understand how much traffic one booth has versus another, how long people spend there, did they enjoy the experience overall. One camera collects all the metrics you may need and more. It is not a cure, but it provides an additional dimension to surveys and anecdotal data. People at this point usually ask, what about privacy? As long as you don't identify individuals, you do not transmit the video to the cloud, and the analytics remain on a group level, there is nothing to worry about. Now, if you want to perform identifiable tracking to address some of the use cases we mentioned before, there are solutions from RFID to automated QR code scanning. These technologies allow you to collect consent before the event and only track those attendees who are okay with it. Instead of making people stop to scan their badge every time they enter the venue or visit a booth, a camera equipped with AI can scan the QR code automatically. Pretty neat, right? Facial recognition is another solid option for making check-in easy and increasing security, but it has to be handled with care, and we don't have enough time right now to go do a deeper dive. This concludes my 5 minutes. I do hope you found it more educational than promotional, because I want James to invite me back next year, and next time we can go over specific case studies. Please feel free to reach out. Thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you, Panos, although he can't hear me, so that's a pointless thing to say. Jamie Vaughan from Cvent. First slide is actually very similar to Panos, so we didn't rehearse this too well. Very much about collecting data and recognizing how you can interpret that data to read some of the behavioral elements that can improve your event. So my 2 sessions here are very much about the near future rather than the future, because these are all things that we can do now to improve our own events. Okay, did that just go back a slide? That did, didn't it? How do I go back? That way. So this is on a loop, it should loop, so I'll try and keep this live. So what this slide, there we go, so much for practice. What this slide will give you, and I'm going to have to pause it because it's on a loop that shouldn't be doing it, is how we can collect data during the journey of an attendee. Since the world has changed somewhat and become very digital, there are some byproducts to digitization, and I don't think COVID is a good thing, of course, but it has enabled us to look at how people are engaging and how we can read and interpret that data. I want to do that one more time because the whole point was to show you this slide. You'll see from the variety of touch points that you can recognize how someone behaves at your event. These are all digital interactions that allow you to create a scoring mechanism and therefore understand how you can improve the performance, how you can engage, but more importantly, how you can read. I'm very, very old, and I remember going to events years ago, and the only measurement was you'd look down an aisle and you'd say, that's really busy. This event is great. Of course, that just was entire fiction. Now we can interpret the behavior, the digital touch points, and make true judgments how to improve. I'm going to forget that slide because that was a bit of a disaster. I'm going to move on to this one. Creating engagement through Fomo. What a title. What does that really mean? Basically, engagement is something that, as a tech provider, we get debated and we get quizzed on all the time. And we haven't got time to spend a session on engagement because it is an entire session. It's saying, right, what is, what isn't? And the world of virtual has come along. I suppose I should do a very quick question. Hands up, please, if anyone has converted to a virtual event in the last 2 years. Anyone? Yeah, there we go. And are we all satisfied with our virtual experience? Hands up if you are satisfied. Very telling. So I think that dissatisfaction, if I'm reading the audience correctly, isn't necessarily that it doesn't work. Virtual events are great, but it's what we expect out of them. How do we anticipate what success is? The fact we might quadruple our attendee numbers is a good thing, right? But if they're not engaged and we get nothing back, what's the purpose? So it becomes very, very difficult. I'm from Cvent, as I mentioned, where pretty big. We got 35,000 customers using our tools every day of the week. So that gives me a privilege to understand and aggregate information that's happening in the field. Okay, so engagement from virtual events has been challenging because you can press pause and go and make a cup of tea, right? It's not a two-way thing. So we've tried to look at what has changed in the marketplace. And you've all heard this word hybrid. I didn't want to put that in the title because you probably wouldn't come because everyone's saying hybrid. What is that all about? Hybrid is, in my interpretation, where you would live stream a physical event. So something here, this isn't live, but this were live, and we had a live audience listening to me right now, that'd be a hybrid event. If that hybrid audience were able to ask me questions and be involved and participate in the program, that would be an engaging hybrid event. Okay? So my statement about creating engagement through Fomo is based on our hybrid experiences. And at Stephen, we like to drink your own champagne. So we do a selection of events ourselves. We did an event in Las Vegas recently and one in London called Cvent Connect. Las Vegas had, I think it was about 9,500 attendees virtually, and just shy of 2,000 attendees physically, and they shared the same experience. When we were analysing all the events, it was pretty engaging physically. We didn't know what was happening virtually because we'd go back and reinterpret the data after. When we went back on day 1 and day 2, the #1 watched virtual session was what we called Cvent TV, which is interesting. We had very, very high, expensive, powerful keynote speakers, yet we had basically somebody behind a desk like this interviewing passers-by. They were at the back of the stage, and they were just talking to the audience. They were creating like a behind-the-scenes monologue of what was going on. It was the #1 rated event, and that made us think, why is that? So we did some research, did some surveys, and we found out that the people at home felt significantly more engaged because they felt they were missing out. They were missing out on the physical elements of an event that they yearn for, that they want to do. So we didn't realise, but we were creating FOMO through a live broadcast of a physical event. So I've just had my bing bong. My takeaway message to you guys is think about how you move forward. Physical, awesome. Virtual does work. Hybrid, amazing. If you're creating the right environment for everyone to interface, have dialogue, and create engagement. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Oh, Christoph, you're up next. Thank you.
Hi, guys. Good afternoon, good evening. Hello, live, everyone online as well. Krzysztof Celuch, event experience professor, firstly. Secondly, I'm working as an educator in currently 75 different countries with more than 1,500 people over the last 24 months. So it's really difficult to say where I'm based. I'm based in front of the screen, and I really enjoy it. Event technology, 3 ideas. Number 1, Wi-Fi. Number 2, sustainability. Number 3, event app. This is my biggest challenge. This is my biggest question, and this is what I've been talking about for over the last 2 years. First of all, the Wi-Fi. So number 1, to the destinations. Number 2, to the venues. Number 3, to the event organizers. If you confirm the Wi-Fi is working, please make it happen. Fast, now, because I would like to be with you, I would like to work with you, I would like to engage, I would like to experience now. Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi, and it should work. If you have a special code, give me the special code. I don't want to find, I don't want to look. I know it's basic, and I know we've been talking about this 10 years ago. For me, event technology trend this year, 100%. Number 2, I know this gentleman, this is my hometown, from the Nicolas Copernicus, famous astronomer, and I was thinking about him, and I started Googling what he was writing about, and later I read that maybe sustainability is something that he is taking into consideration as well. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have changed the world a lot over the last 2 years, and using the event technology, we can change the future. So if you are thinking about C-event, or if you are thinking about any other technological newses, have a look how they can change the sustainability. Have a look how they can change the future and now. So from my perspective, looking into the future from using the event technology, sustainability, corporate social responsibility, and of course I will not give the examples now, but if you are going to have a look at the destinations, or if you are going to speak to few main organizers in the world, or conference facilitators, generally sustainability is a big boom. Of course, on one side, on the other side, we eat plastic. And we have a paper bag, thanks God. If you are not sitting with a paper bag, please take your paper bag. It will be a surprise at the end. Finally, what I'm going to mention is a big challenge for me, which is event applications. Before this session, I collected the numbers, how many sessions online, how many conferences online over last 2 years I joined. It's more than 150. And I collected number of apps that I need to download to my lovely phone. And what I did, I read all of the instructions for the apps. Downloading the app is easy. The instruction is usually 12 pages. And suddenly someone told me, please engage, please vote, please watch, please change the slide. Believe me or not, it's really challenging for the attendees. And I'm saying this as educator and trainer for different companies. Every single conference, every new app. I know it's a business. I know they are companies. But somehow, somewhere, there should be a discussion about this, how make it easier. And I'm not talking about Zoom, I'm not talking about Teams, I'm talking about professional application deliver even here today. So speaking shortly, Wi-Fi, please, it works even if I'm Caribbean because I like working from the beach or in my case, from the mountains. Sustainability, yes, support the future and we can use the event technology. And finally, event applications. Make it easier. I'm the normal guy, not non-English speaking, not native. I want to understand what you really want to deliver to me. So my name is Krzysztof Celuch and thank you very much for the time and being with us. Remember about paperback.
So Christoph basically stole my tech trend for the coming year, which is what is a trend that you don't normally associate with tech, and sustainability is something that springs to mind. So we know that Silicon Valley as a tech industry is going hard on going green with solar farms. Microsoft is building an underwater server farm so that they can reduce cooling costs. There's lots of technological solutions in the infrastructure of sustainability. But what about in the way that we approach that across our event deliveries? So how does this clicker work? Trace, which is a app that I have been involved in developing through my company Isla. It's a real-time carbon reporting tool for events. This is going to be a big trend coming forward. So with the backdrop of COP26, which happened less than a month ago, all eyes are concentrated on the delivery of the promises, the actions that are going to follow, not just the words that our leaders and businesses have committed to. And ultimately, that's about driving down carbon. It's about measuring our emissions, and it's about having robust offsetting schemes and mitigating the residual carbon that we can't get rid of. And this is a global imperative. This is not something, no nation, no industry, no individual business, no individual can actually ignore the participation in this global challenge that we face. It's something that we all have to take part in. So how does carbon measurement of events play a role? What is this trend that's coming? Well, firstly, it's about visibility. So you can't know the problem until you can see the problem. And at the moment, we don't measure the carbon footprint of events at scale. We don't know what a good event looks like. We don't know what a bad event looks like. We don't know how to measure the impact, reduce the impact of our events because we're not measuring them. And a few points have been made about how we collect data, what we do with data, how we use that data, and about managing impact. And so data and how we visualize it has really changed the way we work. So if we're doing it properly, we can use that to learn and drive our strategies, whether that's sales, whether that's relationship management, whether that's engagement, whether it's content development. And ultimately, with the introduction of tools like Trace, we can start developing and driving forward robust sustainability strategies that reduce carbon in our events. So wherever you sit in the event ecosystem, from event buyer to event organizer, whether you're a destination, convention bureau, venue, you will have been asked at some point what you are doing about sustainability. And if you haven't, it's coming. So, it's about being prepared. We're past this, we don't have plastic water bottles, right through to we have a robust strategy for sustainability for our event or for our program of events or as part of our corporate social responsibility. So tools like Trace, which help you report your carbon in real time, are
going to help you do that. They're designed to help you do that. And so the second thing about being able to measure our carbon footprint and use sustainability as a trend for tech is about engagement. So once you know your problem, you can articulate the solutions and you can engage your audience in helping solve those challenges. So 71% of 10,000 people polled in the UK put climate change as their number one concern, above COVID and above economic recession. We all want to know that we're on the right side of history. How many people here like living on this planet? How many people want to participate in saving the planet? We all want to engage, right? It's something that we are all in. So as an industry, we reach hundreds of millions of people on an annual basis across the globe. And live events are designed to engage audiences. This is what we're talking about. This is what everybody is saying. We create engagement and we create opportunities. So from the moment that a guest receives an invitation right through to the moment that they leave, the last guest leaves and the doors close, we as an events industry have an opportunity to apply our data and our learnings with regards to our environmental impact and our carbon and our waste and shape change so that we're not just leaving legacy, which is a word that everybody wants to, something everybody wants to apply. We all want to leave legacy in the space that we go to, but we can leave legacy in our attendees that they will actually take forward in their life. We have an opportunity to use our data, use our visibility with regards to our environmental footprint and engage people in making positive change. So we have a huge global challenge ahead of us, but actually if we flip that on its head, we have an amazing opportunity to use live events and our communications to change the world. And we are an industry that constantly rises to a challenge. The last 2 years has demonstrated that. If we can swap to hybrid and virtual overnight, we can really get behind the global ambition to save the planet. So this is one tech trend that you just can't miss. It's not an option to miss it. So trace your .events, find out more about how you can take your place in the green tech revolution. So thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Anna. A really important trend there. We all need to play our part. The next presenter is actually based in Boston, so I'm going to play the video. But I just want to make sure, has everybody got a paper bag? Huh? Is there anybody without a paper bag? Put your hand up if you don't have a paper bag. Most people do have a paper bag. I'll bring some paper bags over now while we play the next video. And this is Dalia El-Ghazar with her 2 tech trends. And then we're going to do our paper bag thing.
Hello, everyone in Barcelona for IBTM 2021. God, I wish I was with you. But thanks to James Morgan, I am kind of with you. I'm in Boston, but I have my Egypt going on here. Anybody that's been to Egypt, hands up in the air like you just don't care. And next time, I swear I will take you with me back home. And I'm super excited to be here. They gave me 4 minutes to talk to you about 2 trends. I don't know who put this program together, James, but 4 minutes is not enough for me. Dalia El-Ghazar here from Dalia Plus Agency. We are a marketing agency and we love to push people out of their comfort zone to create events that are not only good or great, but awesome. So would love to continue the conversation even after these 4 minutes. So I have my QR code here. If you can open up your cameras, slowly hover over the QR code and we will auto-magically be connected on LinkedIn. This is one of the trends that I want to talk to you about is QR codes. QR codes they used to be in fad a little bit before the pandemic. Now I want you to think very creatively on how to use them. This is one way. These are ideas for you to steal, to grab, to have your event participants participate with you in continuing the conversation, extending your event life, extending your content, all of the above with all your stakeholders. So a couple of cool ideas that you can use is your speakers should have their QR codes on the screens with them in the background. Another thing is have your attendees, this is a great icebreaker. In breakout session rooms, the first thing they do is when they are in a room, no need for business cards. Imagine if you are able to have your QR codes on your LinkedIn on your phones, then people can start scanning and exchanging, connecting that way. The other thing is, think of it from a sponsorship opportunity where you have QR codes and you can make them sexy, you can make them colorful, you can have them have logos in it and all that cool stuff. What you're doing is you are having people, driving them and sort of manipulating, in a way, their behavior, their journey. Have them reach out to have more content than they would at a trade show through sponsors, through your exhibitors, maybe some value add when it comes to content, not only collateral, maybe product showcases that are not on the show floor. So there's a lot of great opportunities with QR codes. I've seen actually people use them in their booths. If they want to talk to someone live, then it will take them into a video chat. Extending the conversations, let's talk about extending the content. All event organizers, you've been binging on content. You have become content connoisseurs. We need you to think of long game. Your content is your new currency. Your content for your shows, your webinars, your ebooks, your white papers, all of that. You want to make sure that you are able to have it be bingeable, snackable content, have it be part of your event marketing. You have great platforms like Clipper, like AnyClip, like Vocal Video, like Video Ask, where you are creating, co-creating, curating content with your stakeholders. And so I want you to think of your content as your new currency, in the sense of how you're going to put that content together and how you're going to serve it to your event participants. Those are my new trends. Have a wonderful, wonderful IBTM, and I hope to see you next year.
She can't hear you, but I'm sure she'd appreciate it. She's a great friend of mine, a very clever lady, and she asked me if I would do the paper bag with you guys today. And everybody's got a paper bag now. So before we go on to that, if you want to download the deck from today and to see the speakers, check out their LinkedIn profiles, that's the QR code. And you will be able to download the deck from today, including the videos. All the speakers are on there as well. So thank you very much to the speakers. So basically, Dahlia goes around the US and to Europe doing a tech therapy lounge. And the tech therapy lounge seems to be a very, very popular place for people because people can let off steam, they can de-stress, they can get endorphins in their body going, they can re-energize from the day. So you've all been here at the show for most of the day, haven't you? So this is an opportunity for you now to go a bit crazy, and you've all got a paper bag, okay? So what I'm going to ask you to do is take your mask off and get your paper bag up to your face. These are my demonstrators here, okay? And then when the video goes on, just do what they're doing in the video, right? Okay? Has everybody got their paper bag ready? You all got your paper bag up? Okay? Has everybody got their paper bags up? Okay. 1, 2, 3, and...
2, 1.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and I just want to say thank you very much to our speakers here, Mariska, Edgars, Jamie, and Anna, and Christoph, and of course Dahlia and Panos, who couldn't be here today. And thank you very much for coming to the show. Yes, take your bag and use it. Okay. Thank you.